Please sit. Place your hands on your knees. Lengthen your legs. And in this configuration, tighten your buttocks, your behinds. Contract the muscles of your behind until you can see your body going up. Make effort in your buttocks, not your shoulder. The two behinds, the muscles of your two behinds. They will contract, and then you will feel the whole body goes a little bit up. Don't place both legs together. As if somebody is pushing your heels until you suddenly feel your whole skeleton going up, and your heels shorten as the result of that, like that. And now, do it fast, light, as if you are riding on a horse. Make many fast movements of contraction of both behinds. With that, lie on your back and rest a moment. Remain on your back with your legs spread and long. Contract the muscles of both buttocks. Notice which one contracts more strongly. That side, your pelvis lifts more. Notice which one is it. Tighten more. Notice which one of them tightens more. Intentionally contract only your right buttocks. Notice how your right side lifts. Feel how your chest moves when you contract. Only your right buttocks. And now contract only your left buttock muscle. Pay attention to what happens to your knees on the side that lifts. What does your foot do? Does it turn outward or inward? Let's contract your right buttocks again. What does your right knee do? What does your right foot do? Now contract only your left buttocks. What does your left leg and foot do? What does your left knee do? Finally, contract both behinds simultaneously. Sense if you can feel both legs opening sideways when you contract your behinds. Begin now contracting both buttocks very fast. Pay attention to what your lower abdomen is doing. As you increase your speed, feel how your pelvis turns when you do that. Like that. Leave that. Rest for a moment. Lie on your stomach, please. Spread your legs. Put your two hands on the back of both buttocks. Contract your buttocks. Notice with the palms of your hand if the muscles contract equally. Notice that your heels move closer to each other and your knees go outward as your buttock muscles contract. Set your heart to which leg responds faster, better, which heel turns more, which knee turns better. Notice that the better side is the one where your muscle contracts better. And now contract only the right buttock muscle. And the second one only. Now forcefully contract both and hold them together, contracting. The crease between your buttocks will get smaller. It will be pressed together. Like that. Leave that. Many of you are not doing the right movement. They don't feel that they are not contracting their buttocks. It's like your mother comes and tries to do an enema to you, and you close your buttocks so hard, so nothing can come inside. You need to make it impossible to reach your anus. I see a few people make the opposite movement. Leave that alone. Lie on your back and rest a moment. Stand on your knees, please. Place your knees and feet close together, with your toes extending backwards. And now, put your hands on your buttocks behind. Powerfully contract both buttocks and remain like that for a few seconds. Stop briefly and then contract your muscle even more strongly and hold them contracted for a moment. Notice while you contract both buttocks powerfully, the pelvis turning, so your lumbar vertebra move backwards. The arch of your back becomes smaller and your stomach lifts. Your navel moves up and the pubic bone moves forward. Contract your buttocks so powerfully a few times and see if this is true. Can you feel your pubic bone moving forward? And your pelvis turns until the back of your lumbar spine moves backwards. The part in the front just above your belt moves inwards. If you would stick a pencil in your belly button, you would see it moving up. Like that. Do it a few times. And now do it very fast a few times. Like that. And now, contract them powerfully and hold them contracted. Just make sure that you continue breathing, even though you are making an effort, holding your buttocks contracted. Continue breathing even though your pelvis stands differently than normal. Like that, leave that. And rest a moment. Return to your knees. This time, put your right foot to standing on the floor. Place your hands on your behinds again. And contract both your behinds. Tighten them again. You will notice that only the buttocks of the knee that you stand upon can contract. The other buttocks cannot contract powerfully. You notice that only your left bank contracts. The right bank remains loose, despite what you want. You cannot contract the right one. Only if you try to move the leg. Just without trying, contract both of them, and then you will see that only one can do it. At the same time, the movement of your pelvis causes the right knee to move and become longer. Set your heart on your right knee and notice it moving forward as your left buttocks contract. That means your pelvis moves in a way that shifts your right side forward, like that. Change your legs and try the same thing. Notice, is your movement symmetrical? You obviously are doing the same thing, but the question is it the same easiness, the same lightness? Observe if your navel lifts the same amount, or your left knee moves forward the same amount. Do you feel your way of standing on your left knee is similar to standing on the right knee? Like that. And now, stand on both knees again and contract both buttocks very fast. Keep your two knees together. Contract both buttocks as quickly as you can. Place your heart in which heel moves more than the other, which knee stands more clearly on the floor. And now, contract both buttocks powerfully and remain like that. Leave your shoulders and your chest free. Keep your arms completely free even though they are resting on your buttocks. Like that. Leave that, lie on your back and rest a moment. Return to your knees again. Only this time, spread them as much as you can. Place your big toes near each other, the big toes. The knees as wide as you can. And rest both hands on your buttocks and contract both buttocks very powerfully. Notice the movement of your pelvis. Observe how your pelvis moves so your lumbar vertebrae move backwards and your pubic bone lifts forward. Your pubic bone advances and lifts. Notice your navel move upward even more. That means the top part of the abdomen near your diaphragm moves inward. Like that. That's it. Feel on which knee you lean more powerfully, and which buttock muscle contracts better. Feel if your contraction is symmetrical. Does your pelvis move a little more to the left or to the right? Your right buttocks contracts better if your pelvis moves more to the left. And now, do the movements very quickly. Contract both buttocks very quickly. You need to discriminate between lifting your abdomen because you want to and lifting your abdomen as a result of your buttock muscles contracting. You can lift your belly without strengthening your buttock muscles. Like that. Please stand on your feet. Move your weight onto your right foot. Your left leg is off to the side and completely off. Soft. Lean lightly on the toes of the left foot while keeping all your weight on your right foot. Lift only your right bank, the buttock muscle. Contract only your right buttock muscle. Observe that when you contract the muscles of your right buttocks, your pelvis moves to the left. Of course, at the same time, your right knee turns, causing the arch, the place where you put support for your foot, to lift off the floor. This causes you to stand with more weight on your heel and the outer border of your right foot. When you powerfully contract the buttock muscle on the right side, the middle of your right foot lifts. Your weight shifts to the outer borders of your right foot and the bridge of your right foot lifts off the floor. As if you put an arch support under the foot. That means that the middle of the arch moves off the floor and you stand more on the heel and on the outer part of the sole of the foot. So there's no heaviness on the right big toe. Do this many times. Notice lift the arch of your right foot intentionally if you don't feel this movement spontaneously. Intentionally lift the inner part of your foot, the arch, away from the floor and shift your weight to the outer border of your right foot. So the middle support lifts off the floor. Do that many times, quickly. This shortens your right foot because the big toe grabs the floor closer to the middle. Likewise, your heel moves closer to the big toe and the middle lifts. Be sure your left leg stands quietly. Just contract only your right buttocks, like that. Begin contracting your right buttocks quickly, like that. Leave that and rest on the floor. Return to standing and rest on the... And do the same thing with the left leg. Shift the weight of your body to your left. Your right leg is slightly to the side, leaning on the tip of your toes without bearing a lot of weight. Contract the muscles of your left buttocks only. Your right leg is limp and balances the body. Feel as if your left leg responds the same way as your right. Does your arch lift a little less well? Make an effort in your leg until you feel you're squeezing something with your heel. It would be as if you're squeezing something into your floor. Your left foot needs to make slight circular movement outward. Your left knee moves outward. At that point, you can feel the weight of the body moving to the outer border of your left foot. At the same time, you can feel the inner part of your arch lifting. That is the place you would put your foot support. You can contract your foot intentionally so your big toe moves closer to your heel. Move as if you wanted to pick something off the floor. Catch it and lift it. Do this many times. And now do that fast, like that. And now stand equally on both feet, with your toes pointing outward. Spread your legs fairly wide. Contract both buttocks simultaneously and shift your weight to the outer border of your feet. Let your knees turn outward as your buttocks contract. So pay attention to what your pelvis is doing. What types of movement do you make with your pelvis? Feel how your abdomen lifts while your pelvis moves forward into extreme position. This means your pubic bone moves forward more than is necessary in usual standing. Now do it on purpose. Contract each foot intentionally so the heels of each foot moves closer to the big toe and your weight shifts to the outer border of the foot. And now help your lower abdomen lift so your front part of the pubic bone moves forward, as much forward as you can. Shift your weight at the same time. This means you should contract your buttocks and your feet. At the same time, your knees straighten when you contract your buttocks. They do not bend. They do not fold. Like that. Leave that. Lie on your back and rest for a moment. Come back to sitting. Sit, please, sit. Put both your feet together. Rest both hands on your knees. And begin again, contracting both your buttocks. Notice Is it easy to feel how your body lifts now? And now try the same thing. Place both hands on the floor behind you this time. Spread your legs. Bend your knees slightly out to the sides like a frog. Contract both your buttocks. Don't lean. Don't lean too much on the floor with your hands. Don't push against the floor with your hands. Push with your buttocks. And now lift only your right bank. Many, many times, quickly. Only the right buttocks. As fast as you can. And now, contract it extremely powerfully and hold the right side contracting. Notice that you are able to breathe despite the effort. You're only doing the work with your buttocks, not with your elbows, not with your chest. And now make many quick movements with your left buttocks only. And then contract your muscle strongly on your left buttocks only and hold it. Leave that, lie on your back and rest a moment. Return to the same position again. Sit with both hands on the floor behind you. Your knees are outside like a frog. And in this position, lift both legs into the air. So you are balancing on your on your buttocks, and then shift all your weight into the right seat and advance with your left one. And you make a small step with your left buttocks before you're shifting your weight onto your left side, and then make a small step with your right buttocks. So you walk forward, advancing one seat after the other. And afterwards, of course, walk backwards. Walk backwards. So you go once on this seat, once on the other seat, and then you go backwards. And now return to walking forward. Do the biggest step you can do with your buttocks. Each time another seat moves forward. Shift your weight from one buttocks to the other and advance with the biggest step you can. Like that. Leave that. Lie on your back and rest a moment. Sit. Put only your right hand on the floor behind you. Shift all your weight onto your right side and lift your left leg into the air. Move your left hip forward and backward. Do not walk. Move only your hip forward and backward. Start to move forward as if you want to take a step and change your mind. Take your hip backwards instead. Like that. So gradually build up speed so you are moving backwards and forwards rapidly. Your left heel needs to make a large movement of lengthening. Your hip, pay attention that you make the movement with your hip. As if you start moving forward and then you decide, no, I don't want to move forward, I want to move backward. And you take your whole seat. Work that. And now do that very, very fast. Very fast. Forward and backward, very fast. The hip, not your shoulder. The shoulders will move because the hip moves. Your heel needs to make the largest possible movement forward and backward. Like that. Leave that alone. And try the same thing on the other side. Lean on your left hand. Lift your right leg off the floor. And walk with your right seat forward and backwards, as if you constantly change your mind. Walk forward as if you changed your mind, walk backwards. Begin doing it quickly, using the largest movement you can. With your right hip, with your right hip, with your right hip. The whole pelvis, the whole right pelvis, as if you want to make a side step. You make a step with that side, and then you change your mind. Leave that. Lie on your back and rest a moment. Sit again. Bend your knees to the side like a frog. Put both hands behind you on the floor. Walk 5 steps forward, 5 steps backward, making the largest step you can. With the hands behind you. 5 steps forward, 5 steps backward. And now do the same thing quickly, the fastest you can. Doesn't important that you make it large. It's just fast. 5 fast steps forward, 5 fast steps backward. Rest a moment. Sit. Place your knees wide to your side. Lift both hands, shoulder height, with your elbows slightly bent, so your arms are free like a circle. Balance your body, lift your both legs, and start walking like this, with a very light movement, with your own rhythm. That means that you do not rush. You swim like that. You walk as if you're floating in the air. Move your whole body wherever you need. Move your pelvis with your legs. Everything free. Your breathing is free. Advance using very light, soft movements. The speed isn't important. It's not important how fast you do it. It's important that you feel your own rhythm of movement, your natural rhythm as you walk forward and backward. Like that. Rest a moment. And now do the same thing again. This time even more beautiful, even more simple. Only a few steps. Breathe freely. Make your body really soft and move forward and backward. Just do a few steps here, a few steps there. Your feet remain soft. The whole body remains soft. It's only your pelvic girdle muscles, abdomen and buttocks working. Like that. Leave that. Stay quiet for a moment. Sit. And contract your buttock muscles so powerfully that the body makes a little jump or a hop. Try to to hop backwards. Jump backwards, using your arm and everything. Hop in one spot. See if you can jump forward, backward, upward. Try hopping upward. You may be able to advance also backward. Do a few such jumps. You can't do it unless you bend your legs. Like that. And now, stand on your knees. Your knees are very wide. The big toes together. Contract both buttocks powerfully. Observe how far your pelvis and abdomen move now. Lift also your belly buttons on purpose, as much as you can. Make big effort in your buttock muscles. And now do 5 movements very, very fast. Like that. Excellent. And now stand on your feet. And spread your legs. Contract both buttocks so that you can lift your arches of your feet. And now with a big, big force, feel how this shifts your weight to your outer borders of your feet. Do well contracting your buttocks powerfully. These are the most strong muscles in your body. You can contract them as much as you want and use them powerfully. Lift your arches and contract the buttocks. Lift the belly from the front by moving the pubic bone forward, like that. And now just walk simply. Is it different from your usual walk?